It's 1 o'clock in the morning. 1:19 a.m. to be precise. Cassidy, what are you doing up? Don't you have things to do early in the morning? Yes. But hey, I was up all night last night reading Beautiful Redemption, and I was up all night the night before thinking about reading Beautiful Redemption and cleaning. It's a stress thing. So I figured, what's 3 nights of no sleep? Cassidy, that sounds like something someone with a problem would say. Yeah, it does. 1 a.m. book review. What am I doing with my life? No, Cassidy, you seem kinda chipper, considering one of your favorite book series of all time has ended. Are you okay with this? No. I'm really not. So last night I did what I always do when I'm excited for a really good book to come out, which is I wait for it to pop up on my Kindle and then I stay up all night reading it, no matter what I have to do the next day. I usually finish a book at like 6 a.m. and by then I'm just exhausted and overwhelmed with feelings and loopy. It's all good fun. Beautiful Redemption, however, was an entirely different experience. Guys, this was a really, really sad book. Not in a bad way, like, wow, overly depressing. Just very sad, mostly because the whole time I just knew this was it. This was the final book of the Beautiful Creatures series. Let me give you a little bit of background on the Beautiful Creatures series. It is one of my favorite book series of all time. You've seen me, advertise its greatness. I do Mortal Minutes and I do trailer reactions because the movie's coming out, and I just love these books. I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the themes, I love that darkness in it, the dark and light, the contrast. I love just the messages and the poetry, and I love the way it was written and the creative energy that went into this series. Everything about it is so great. These books are the reason why I read. Because every now and again you stumble upon something so precious to you, something that is such a treasure to you. And that, my friends, is why we read. Because we stumble upon these treasures. And these treasures make our lives. And they inspire us in lots of different ways. And Beautiful Creatures was one of my treasures. Is one of my treasures. It's just really, really, really hard to let go of a good book series. And I know it's always going to be there and I can always reread it. It's just that, there's no experience like your first experience. The first time you read the last book, there's no duplicating that. So that's what happened last night. I read Beautiful Redemption and I cried a lot. That's the weird thing about me. Very little makes me cry, mostly just fictional things. If you do it right. And Cammy and Garcia and Margaret Stohl, well, they definitely did it right. It seemed actually like they had like a personal vendetta against my soul. Like they knew what they were doing when they wrote it. They were like, yes, this will make her cry. Oh yeah, this is gonna make her sob. I'm planning on getting a little jet ski because I filled my living room with tears. Oh. My goodness, this book was so wonderful though. Despite the misery it made me feel, it was so well done. I'm not a published author. I can only imagine how hard it is to have to write the final book of your series, your baby. First of all, I'm guessing it's a personal experience. That you're putting part of yourself on the pages and it's the last time for these characters, for this setting. That's really sad. And second of all, there's pressure. It's your final book. Fans want it to be epic. And there's that wrestling in your mind, I bet. It's just like what the fans want, what you want, trying to compromise, wondering if you have to compromise at all. But for all of that, they did a darn good job. It was beautiful. I loved the way they portrayed like the other worlds without overstepping any boundaries, if that made sense. Like if you're religious or not, or I don't know, or whatever you are, it wasn't offensive the way they handled things. They did a really good job at balancing a concrete idea of this other world and the mystery of, but what really comes next? And anyway, it was just very well done. It really, really brought the series together in an amazing way. Like, this is a finale, my friends. This is a finale. I think the reason why I felt like it made the series so complete, because it wasn't just a physical battle. It wasn't just people fighting each other. I mean, there was plenty of fighting and it was epic, but it was a lot of mental and emotional stuff. Like beating foes mentally, beating foes emotionally, getting past things, moving on. I don't know, it dealt with a lot of issues that are close to heart. Things we can all understand. And Ethan Waite will always be one of my favorite characters in existence. And if that wasn't your opinion before, it darn well better be yours now. Just because he was so awesome in this book, his perseverance and his attitude and the way he just fought through everything. Oh my goodness, how can you not love this boy? But Cassidy, he's fictional. Shut up. Don't even get me started on Lena. I love you, Lena. You did a good job. It's just that, how is it that every chapter had this perfect sense of finality without overdoing it? The writing style was as beautiful as ever, and the theme and all the issues it tackled, and just how, Cammy and Margaret, how do you perfect? I'm really emotional. I cried a lot last night, and I think that might be why I won't cry now, but know that if I had any tears left in my body, I would be. It's just a lot of emotionally exhausting parts. Spoilers ahead. One of them would be when Ethan was with his mother, and she's usually a very selfless woman, but you could tell the more Ethan found out that he could, go back, the more she told him it was too dangerous and tried to pull him back, and I'm like, it was very, very sad. That's her baby. That is her son. But then she did the brave thing and let him go. And then just Lena and Ethan and their relationship. They weren't even together 90% of the book, and they still have one of the best romantic relationships in YA fiction. Yay, Lena and Ethan. And I was thinking about it the other night, and I think I figured out why their relationship is so great. I think it's because a lot of young adult fiction covers the physically intimate side of teenage relationships or relationships at all, but they don't really include the emotionally intimate or the mentally intimate. I mean, there's more than one way to be close to a person, and there's definitely more than one way to be in love. I think that's what I really appreciate about Ethan and Lena throughout this entire series. I'm not even just talking about Beautiful Redemption. Although they kissed, they had their cute makeout scenes and whatever, it was never lusty. Don't think that's a word, but you know what I mean. There was a connection, and it felt tangible and real from the reader's point of view. I really, really appreciate a well-developed relationship. It was more than Ethan and Lena just saying that they had something that was more than physical. You believe it. So that was so well done, again. And then just the plot and the characters and, oh my gosh, Ridley and John and Liv and Seraphine in the end. Oh, I didn't even know what to think. Although, I never thought I'd see the day where I laughed at something Seraphine said. But when Ethan said, you can tell Angelus to jump off a water tower, you might need some ice for that burn, Ethan. I don't even feel like I'm saying anything constructive, and I'm sorry. It's just, I feel very overwhelmed by this book. I thought it was very well done, very well written. I liked the way they portrayed the other worlds. I liked the way they developed characters further without, overdoing it, like just throwing in some new character traits for the final book. Look, I've changed! Have you ever read books like that where it's like, I don't know, let's say Ridley had gone from her little bad girl self to like a perfect angel nun person. That just wouldn't have made sense. I really liked it. This book was amazing, and it was a great finale, and if you haven't read it yet, please get yourself to a store or download on your Kindle. It is so worth it. And lastly, I just want to thank Cammie Garcia and Margaret Stohl for such a great book, for such a great treasure. I will always love this series, and I will never stop supporting it. And I just thank you. Thank you for such an amazing series. Congratulations on such a great series. I'm sure you ladies put so much work into it, and you know what? Good, because the outcome was amazing. Goodbye to Ethan Waite and Lena Duquesnes. I will miss you two more than you'll ever know, probably because you're fictional.